can see the hate, I can see the lies. See it in your face, read it out your eyes. Why they watching me? They got their eyes on me. Why they watching me? They got their eyes on me. They want it, while I get it. They losing while I win it. It's the rules of the game you playing. In your eyes I can see you hating. Why they watching me? They got their...
How you doing, Liam?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm okay, buddy. So today we're gonna talk about your experience with COVID.
Yeah.
So to make this easier for us, just start from the beginning. When did you felt that you had it? What did you do about it? And which symptoms did you have? And how did you find out that you possibly could have it?
Okay. So both me and my girlfriend were feeling a little bit well. I was probably not that bad. I just felt, just a little like the standard under the weather and a little bit of a sore throat. She was a lot worse. So she went and got a test. And I think it was literally one day. Obviously, we've been together for 4 or 5 days beforehand anyway. So she stayed at mine. And then it came back positive for both of us. Hers got a little bit worse as the days went on. For probably about a week's worth, she felt pretty shit. The normal symptoms like losing taste, losing smell. She had a temperature, cough, sore throat. Like the normal things they're all saying. And I think she was like that for about 7 days, and then started to get better. My temperature wasn't that high. If you went just by my temperature, I was actually fine. A little bit higher than normal, but not like, was it supposed to be 37.5 and above? I think it's something like that, or 37 maybe. So mine was just sore throat and a little bit of a cough, and then just common cold really. So when mine was positive, I think it's scary because obviously if she didn't go and get hers tested, then I would have just thought, oh, there's nothing of it. I checked my temperature. My temperature wasn't in the where it should be for COVID side of things anyway. And then we had to isolate for 10 days. Household for 14, so we just did 14 in total. Anyway,
So did you lose the sense of smell?
I didn't know. I didn't lose smell or taste, thankfully.
Wow.
So I could still enjoy all my foods.
So imagine if you were not with your girlfriend and you'd be just spreading about, for example.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like they've said now that after your 10 days isolation, if you've still got a cough or a throat, you can go back to work and go and do everything normally. It's just the temperature side of things now. So the NHS people said apparently the test post people rang me and they said after 10 days you're no longer what's the word? Like you can no longer spread it.
Okay.
From the 10 days of testing positive. So, but it's scary because I didn't even have some of the symptoms that they were saying. So it shows that obviously I'm young, active, quite healthy anyway. So, my immune system is probably stronger than most people. So someone like me is probably just a carrier. It's quite fortunate that obviously we did get tested together and she was here because then I meant I actually isolated.
It's crazy when you think about it that you probably had flus that hit you harder than this.
Yeah. Last Christmas I was really ill for about probably one of the worst I've been, and that was definitely by far a lot worse than having COVID.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that everyone will feel what you felt. For example, your girlfriend was a bit harder than you, wasn't it?
Yeah, and her dad was really bad.
Was it?
He was really bad for probably nearly 2 weeks. Struggling to, he had the breathing issues and everything. So it just, but then again, he's quite healthy. He goes to the gym and stuff. So again, it's not even, I don't even think it's just about if you are fit and healthy, obviously that does help, but maybe it's genetics, maybe it's just your immune system, that day that you caught it, you might already be battling some sort of illness off. And then if you've caught COVID at the same time, then it's going to make that a lot worse, and maybe the symptoms will be a lot stronger on that person. But yeah, it's scary to think how it can affect different people
in different ways.
Yeah, like you could get it and you could have been 100 times worse than me, and you're fit, healthy, and active. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or someone might not be fit, healthy, and active, and be the same as me, and it not really hit them. So it's strange. It's strange.
That's right. I mean, I was it scary for you at one point that, for example, I can imagine if I did have COVID at any time, I would be, or I probably already are, I don't know, I'm just speculating here. If I had the confirmation that I had, I would be waking up every time, like touching myself, see if I'm all right. Were you being freaked out about it? Like, oh, I have COVID. Maybe I will wake up tomorrow and I don't breathe.
Before, when it was all going on, I remember the first time Peterborough got his first case, and I see it on the news, and I see it, and I thought, shit, like, what if I get it? Like, what if I can't breathe? And I did think about that side of things, but then when I actually had it, and I realised that I wasn't really that ill, I didn't even think about it, to be honest. So no, I don't know. No, I don't think I was that scared about it.
There's some. I read the other day that whoever had COVID, their brain aged 10 years more.
Yeah, I'm so smart now.
More mature.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But...
I'm ready.
Sorry?
Marriage. I'm ready for kids and marriage.
Yeah, that's what happens when we got stuck at home for 14 days with your girlfriend. So this has been a hard year for all of us. Like, people can say, "Oh, it's not that hard," but if you think about it, you were mentioning last Christmas, and we are almost in Christmas time again. Yep. And I remember the first time I started hearing about Corona was in December. And then in January, it started getting bigger in the news. Then in February, even in March was the lockdown.
Yeah.
So we have been going for this period of time since March till now. And I believe it will be even longer. In lockdown, this year, we probably only worked for 5 months.
Yeah.
And the others, we're being stuck at home. How you been using this time? Do you think it's helping you? Or do you think it's... are you appreciating more things in life? Or are you just struggling?
Okay. We're only what was the day? I don't even know the day. We're only 3-4 days in. Maybe a little bit longer. So it's hard to tell at the minute. I think when it hits is like the 3rd, 4th week, or if he turns around after the 4 weeks and says it's going to be longer, I think that's when it'll hit. But I mean, this time I'm definitely better prepared. I think the hardest time was not necessarily the first lockdown we went in. It was my isolation. And it was easier because I was in a household with my mum and my dad, and obviously with my girlfriend. But I think it was more frustrating because everyone else is out and you're not. So everyone else was doing their normal things, working, getting paid and going out for food and drinks, and you aren't. So I think that was harder because of that reason. The first time, obviously, everyone's in the same boat. So I struggled quite a lot, but then it's also like you had everyone else that kind of understands because they're going through it at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like me and you were calling quite a lot, going for walks and bike rides. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the amount of times that you would go for a walk and I'd call you and I'm on a bike ride or something like that. So if I'm sat there and I'm speaking to you about, I feel really shit today because of this reason, you can see why, because you probably have felt it, or you can understand it a little bit better because you're going through it as well, and same for everyone else. Um, this time I think I'm definitely better prepared, but I think it's also good because the end goal, he said 4 weeks. Now, if it stays 4 weeks, that would be quite easy because, like look at it and it's easy to count down the days and be certain that, right, we've only got 2 weeks left. Right, we've only got 6 days left. Right, we've only got 2 days left. Do you know what I mean? With the first lockdown, it was no one had a clue what was going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very hard to.
Are you prepared that he comes back in 2 weeks' time and says that we need more time? They have extended the furlong
Yeah,
scheme till
yeah,
March.
that don't make sense to me. I'll do 4 weeks, but we'll extend furlough till March.
So, are you
Um,
prepared for that?
Probably not. I'll have to reassess and like speak to people like you and my girlfriend and stuff, and like sort of think of more stuff I need to keep myself busy and occupied with. I think I'll be better off than I was the first lockdown. But I think I would struggle if it's longer than 4 weeks, just because I think I drive myself insane when I'm on my own and not busy and not doing things I enjoy and love. What do you think how do you think you're going to deal with it?
Oh man, just keep myself busy. Uh, First lockdown, when I was going living it by the day, because I thought it was going to be a month, and then 2 months, 3 months, and I was just living by the day, and I was not prepared for that. I think I lost, like, I barely have any memories of that time because you are not creating much of memory. You just locked at home, and I feel like it was, in a sense, a waste of time. I didn't learn anything new. I would spend my days either playing FIFA or doing anything that it's remotely unuseful. Um, the only positive that I took from the first lockdown was we stopped talking about creating a podcast and we managed to do it. It's the only positive thing that I have through that lockdown. This time, I'm trying to keep myself busy. I have more goals. I bought a home gym that I'm waiting for it now. Um, I'm gonna change some stuff here in the house. I'm trying to do as much of podcasting that I can. So far, every day we have released an episode. Only yesterday was Sunday. I didn't bother. We didn't bother. Um, yeah, and I'm just keeping myself busy. I'm trying to listen to books. I've did a walk this morning. Already trained for half an hour, uh, and just keeping myself busy, man. And I think I'm prepared for being more than a month. I think it will be mid of January, February.
I don't know. I also think he might open up for Christmas and then go back in.
It doesn't make sense.
I know, but they need the money, and that's kind of what. And they know if everyone goes out and spends, it'll be 2 weeks of spending, and then keeps the country happy because they've spent time with their family and been able to get out over the Christmas period. And then they'll lock them back down. But then again, I can't see if they choose to say a third lockdown, how many people will be going crazy then, kicking off.
But imagine he's allowing people to go waste money, um, and people are gonna be in financial stress because of the holidays because they are just craving that much for social interaction. Um, and they're gonna go crazy on Christmas shopping because they have 2 weeks. Everyone catch coronavirus on these stores, um, and then you're gonna go lock yourself at home again in January, what is the most depressing month of the year, because people are just waiting to pay their credit cards bills for the Christmas debt.
Yeah.
The last Monday of January is usually called the Blue Monday because everyone is skint and waiting to get paid, and no one wants to go work. So I cannot imagine him opening either way. I do believe that he might allow people to come to different households on Christmas time, but I don't believe stores will be open.
I think if they definitely think it'll be longer than 4 weeks. I think what they should have done is open things a lot slower, and then maybe we wouldn't have been in this situation. Instead of doing pubs and restaurants at the same time, and then the eat out, help out, which is a good idea, but then you're just encouraging everyone to go there at the same time. They open the gyms at the same. They open pretty much everything within the same sort of time frame. So then they couldn't really see what. Right, that's the bigger issue. So if they open things slower, let's say they open pubs first, let's say, and then there was a spike. Right, close the pubs and keep this open, and then just slowly add things to the list that go open. And then if there's a spike, whatever's previously just been opened, shut it, because that's probably an issue. That's what I think should have happened, and it should have been slower. But I think they rushed it. I think the money, probably a big thing. They probably wanted money.
Would you open the gyms?
Me? Yeah, I would. I would after these 4 weeks. I mean, I would like them open now, but part of me is thinking there's absolutely no point. If they're going to do a lockdown for these 4 weeks, then that's fine. If it's just these 4 weeks, that's fine. There's nothing I can do about it. But then it's what they do afterwards, which will allow me to think, was that 4 weeks worth it or not? After 4 weeks, if they turn around and go, yeah, everything's back open, and then in 2 or 3 months' time, they then say, oh, we need to go into another lockdown. Was them 4 weeks worth it? No. We should have just carried on as normal because nothing's changed. So I think if it's down to me, I would probably open things like the gyms and leisure centres, introduce like sports, all them sort of things that not only improve, obviously, your health and well-being, but your mental health as well. See how that goes, manage that, and then add other things in, such as take away pints from a pub you're allowed to go in, but it's outdoors only. Just like little things first, and see what happens, and see if you can add extra measures to stop the spread. Or do you know what I mean? Like schools, do you know what I mean? Rather than do absolutely everything and then 2 months later go on the news saying, oh, it's not worked, so we're going into another lockdown. Because then it just make this one pointless. What would you do?
I think gyms should be open. But I also do. There's one thing that I think it needed to happen is people that are not respecting the rules should not get advantage like using a gym.
Yeah.
So giving power to gyms to just expel people that are not fit to be on society, and they not follow rules, they do not respect, and for example, you as a fitness instructor, you before you did this job, which you may enjoy or you may not enjoy, but then lockdown happens, you come back to your work, and now you have to have negative interactions on a daily basis with people to say, can you clean your kit? Can you do this? We're talking with grown adults that we should not be enforcing these rules. It should not be necessary. And especially when this person comes and defends their bad behavior, these people should not, and gyms needed to expel these people. You should not need to have these conversations with people.
Yeah,
It should not be needed.
especially now.
Yeah, and if people have issues, open your own gym, create your gym at home, so you don't have to clean the kit. If you don't understand why you need to clean the kit, you should not be surrounded by people. End of. I think some people that follow the rules should not be penalized because of other people just want to be different. And this is my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely been harder coming back than I thought. I think the first sort of week it was all exciting, and then it sort of hit. The first week the gyms were dead anyway, weren't they?
Yeah.
No one was really there. And then as it started to pick up over 2, 3, 4 weeks later and go back to probably, I'd say, about normal, you then get, like you said, the people that you have to tell off. And it's hard to enjoy your job as much when not only have you got all these other rules and regulations in place that you now have to do, which is fine, and I don't mind doing that if it means keeping the gym open and keeping my business running and doing something I enjoy. But when it's, like you said, daily interactions with someone not cleaning the kit, which you go over and ask them, can you please go back and clean that kit? And they sort of give you an answer as if to say, why?
Yeah.
Like, make me feel like I'm the one being a dick.
Yeah.
And when you get that 2 or 3 times a day you're there, and you just see people's shit attitude towards, or like as if they shouldn't do that, it makes your job hard to enjoy, and it's frustrating when you're around that kind of negativity. And to be honest, that with or without coronavirus, that should realistically have been in place.
Yeah.
It should. It's just hygiene,
Yeah.
really. It's standard. I'm not bothered in, like wipe it. If you don't want to wipe your kit down before this coronavirus anyway, if you didn't want to wipe that down before, that's your choice. But I think it's just respectful to definitely do it afterwards, because you're leaving sweat on that bench which is going to dry, and someone else is going to touch that. And it realistically should have just been put in place.
Yeah.
That should have been mandatory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just annoying because we obviously battle our own sort of issues at the gym with people not putting weights back, people throwing the dumbbells about, leaving equipment in a state and not putting stuff back where it should be. And then when you've now you deal with that, and that's become sort of normal to tell people to put it back. And now there's more sets of rules which people are now not following, or we have to keep reminding them and tell them off like they're 7 years old. It is hard to walk into that atmosphere and that environment and feel like this is, do you know what I mean? This is what I love to do. It's difficult to do that. I mean, you've got it worse because you're every day, all day. You're the manager, so I bet you're getting loads of people kicking off and moaning at you over stuff you can't even.
It's it has been really hard coming back, because when I was stuck in lockdown, for example, I was realizing how much we take so many stuff for granted. The liberty of doing whatever you want. You can go to the gym, you can go to a store, you can go to the movies. These are things that sometimes we are doing them and we don't even appreciate it. We're just, I have nothing to do, let me do that. But when you're stuck at home and there's nothing you can do, you start even missing these things. And I remember that I said, when we come back, people just gonna be looking for these interactions, being nice, and appreciating life in general. This was my. But then I thought it was gonna last a bit longer because I know that some people easily forget what they went through.
Mm.
But I did thought that it would last a bit longer. It's like the first month we had people that were even not, they were regular members, but sometimes they ran away from social interaction, and start talking to us even when we were back. It was really nice. But then starting the second month, when we ask FTs and PTs to policing the gym floor when we are not in the gym floor, and we start having you guys coming and saying, look, this person is not doing that, that person is not doing that, and we start coming more to the gym floor and realizing that these debates that we should not clean or not with people, that it's like, this should not be happening. Why is this happening? Like, you, so sometimes I feel like I am a babysitter.
Yeah.
I don't understand how can a grown man that you go to him and say, oh, could you please clean your kid? And he says, why? Or can you put your mask on? And he says, why? And I don't understand why I do even need to have this conversation with you. And I can lose my temper in a way, or my reason, because I don't understand. It really conflicts my being. Like, why am I having this conversation? Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, man. I don't think certain people should have kids even, because
What is, obviously all of us PTs now are doing, when we're on shift, normally we're doing classes, inductions, one-to-ones, gym tours, and now obviously all that's been put on hold.
Yeah.
And with the cleaning massively ramped up, we're doing a lot of cleaning. And I think the reason why it frustrates me is not doing the cleaning itself. It's doing the cleaning and then watching other people not clean their kit down. That winds me up massively, because it's like, I'm doing a job for you to keep this place open, and you can't even do the simple thing of spraying down the handles of the dumbbell or just putting it back. So you're just making my life so much more difficult and making me do so much more than I actually need to do, on top of all the extra things I now need to do. And it's like, if you see a rubbish man litter picking on the street, do you just throw your rubbish on the floor and go, well, he's picking it up?
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
Or if you're in the bathroom and there's, okay, so the cleaner at the gym, the cleaners at the gym, if they're in the changing rooms and they're mopping the floor and changing all like the loo roll and all that, do you just piss all over the seat and go, fuck it?
Yeah.
So they're going to clean it anyway. You don't. You still act normal. And that's what winds me up when I'm cleaning, and then I'm like, it's so hard for me, who's cleaning the equipment, to now go over to them and go, can you clean your equipment?
Yeah.
Look at me as if to go, but you're cleaning it. And it's, some people are fine. They're like, I'm really sorry, I forgot. And that's fine, because I haven't spoke to that person before. But it's when you get that, you know, the person that's had an issue in the past where they don't put their weights back. It's just their attitude.
Yeah.
When they give you attitude for, it's not even like I'm being a dick. Like, it's not even like I'm doing what the gym wants me to do. I'm doing what the government is telling me to do. And you treat me like I'm in the wrong, or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that, it makes it so hard to have motivation and to enjoy what you're doing when you're surrounded by that. And there is a lot of members, and obviously there's good ones, and there's some that help us out massively. But it definitely outweighs.
Yeah. So tell me something. So that we can finish. Tell me a situation that pissed you off the most.
Okay, this is when we just opened, right? I think I might have mentioned it on one of the other podcasts. I'm not sure, but I'll say it anyway. So I'm not on shift. I'm in between my clients, and I go into change rooms. I go toilet. I do the standard procedure of washing your hands because that is mandatory. And the guy that was next to me, and it baffles me even more because I'm in my uniform as well. And we're in the urinals next to each other. And I turn, start washing my hands, and he just walks straight out. Right? And I think, okay, let's see what he's doing. So I finish drying my hands and stuff, and I go out and he's walking upstairs. So he's going to go and train. He's just had a piss, right? And I think this was literally the first 2 weeks of the gyms being open. And I went upstairs and I tapped him on the shoulder and was like, wait. And he turned around to me and I went, are you going to go and wash your hands? And he looked at me gobsmacked. And this, like, this man is 30s, maybe 40s, right? He, like, do you know what I mean, right? And I went, are you going to go and wash your hands? And he looked at me as if he's baffled that I've told him off for that. And I was just like, oh, like, he didn't give a fuck. Like, he didn't feel embarrassed, because if someone felt embarrassed, they'd have been like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, yeah, and probably made up an excuse of why they forgot to wash their hands, which you didn't forget. You don't forget to wash your hands. You either do it or you don't.
That's a routine.
So he does it. And especially with this whole, it was literally 2 weeks after the gym's just opening, coming out of isolation. I think it wound me up the most, because I was like, if you are not washing your hands, what else are you doing? He's probably sat there picking his nose. He definitely ain't wiping his kit down. He definitely ain't putting shit back. And yeah, it was just the way he looked at me as if to go like, what's your fucking problem? And that just really pissed me off.
Do I know this person?
No, I've not seen him before.
Is he still there?
I've not seen him since. I told Bally.
Oh, good. I think
Yeah.
that's why I think we should have cameras in the toilets, man. Oh my God, ridiculous. Huh?
What's the thing that's pissed you off the most?
Oh man, look, as you said, I spend there all day. I can tell you that every day I have one argument at least. So it kind of normalized my being pissed off at members. It just became a normal routine. At least once a day, I have an argument with someone. What pisses me off the most is that I know how our team is feeling for trying to be enforcing the rules, and I know how much you guys go through and how much you're getting back as well from the gym. When I say from the gym, I think the company has been amazing, but I'm saying work-wise for yourselves, what you guys are getting back and how much you guys are doing it. And how much on a daily basis, how much shit I get from certain members that make our life difficult, and getting a bad comment or a bad message of a member saying that we are not doing what we need to be doing. That is something that pisses me off completely. When I know how hard we are trying to follow the guidelines, and also we are thinking as a business wise, and people don't appreciate, or they spend 1 hour in the gym. And they see someone not cleaning the kit, and they do a comment like that, and it's like, we spend 8 hours. If we miss one person, why are we failing?
Yeah.
The best example I can give you as well is that there's speed limits on the streets. People still speed. Are you gonna message the police and say, I just seen someone speed and you guys did nothing about it? It's like, what can we do? We have coverage as much as we can, and we try to do as the best as we can, but
Yeah.
it's hard to police 100 people. And having comments like someone saying that, oh, I'm here in a treadmill and I just seen someone come in without a mask. It's really frustrating when we have daily disagreements with people trying to enforce that. It's like, why do we even need to have these conversations? And we are having them, and we still get that we're not doing enough.
Yeah.
It's this is what frustrates me a lot, and you almost get the feeling, okay, you got what you wanted. The gyms are closed.
But it makes me laugh. Like, they make masks mandatory, but then you're not allowed to tell someone to put a mask on.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, if I walked into the shops, I have to wear a mask. Otherwise, you're fined. But they're not allowed to ask me to put a mask on.
That's something that I don't understand.
I understand. But so what's the... And
I think in a way is not to, for example, is that the person is already a rebel in a way that, oh, he's so cool, he's a rebel. Congrats, mate. Is that to avoid, it's not to put the store in a situation where they are failing. For example, they should kick the person out. I think it's not to put them in that situation. It's not their job to kick the person out. It's to avoid confrontations, I think.
But they care so much about upsetting people. Like, they don't want to make someone feel upset because they're not putting a mask on because they might have a medical condition. Well, that's fine. Tell them your medical condition. But someone goes, oh, put a mask on. Oh, no, I don't need to. Why? And they can't give you an answer. It's because they're just abusing the fact that there's a rule that you're not allowed to ask someone because it's against their rights or whatever bullshit rule it is. Like, there's a global pandemic. The country is in the shit, money-wise, health-wise, and you're worried about upsetting someone because they're abusing their power. And that winds me up. And I think what you said about the 70 miles per hour thing, that's correct. And it's like, it'll just keep going around in circles. And they're the same people that will moan that, oh, there's a lockdown and, you know, they can't go out and they can't do this. But they're the same people that will go into their shop to get their food shop and then forget their mask and just give a bullshit reason or abuse the fact that they'll go, well, they're not going to ask me to put a mask on because they're not allowed to. Yeah. They're the same people that will moan and bullshit and not stick to the rules. And then that's why we go into right, look at the house parties some of the uni students are throwing. It's a fucking joke. Like, imagine if none of this, imagine if everyone stuck by the actual rules in the first lockdown. Yeah. This wouldn't have been happening. No. It would have been done. People didn't. And yes, most of, like, for example, Peterborough, yes, we've got cases, but we're not high. We're actually fine. And I tell you what, the council have actually, you walk around Queensgate, there's signposts up, they've one-way systemed it all, they've got people walking around reminding you to put it over your nose because people don't. They're actually quite strict on it. Now, I went Cambridge. Nothing. No one was there, they've got, in Peterborough, they have people, one of the entrances, you know, the main entrance, they had someone standing there just pointing at like a clean or something, pointing at the hand sanitizer when you're walking in. I went Cambridge, nothing. And the last day we're in lockdown, I popped up into town and I was in Primark and there was a police officer walking around Primark telling people to put their masks over their nose. But this is what I mean. if it was that serious, why were you not doing that from the very first day you went to Queensgate?
Yeah.
But this is what I mean. Like, even the government choose and pick when to be strict and when not to be. And as long as it stays like this, I just feel like it's just going to be an issue. And all you're doing is demotivating people to actually stick to the rules. Because if people don't see change, they'll just turn around and go, fuck it, what's the point?
Yeah.
And more people will start doing it.
It is. What can you do?
Exactly. Ran over.
Ran over about it. Liam, so that's it for today, buddy.
Sweet, bro.